Hey there, it's Shauna. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for November 27th. So this week I'm titling, Let's Talk About a Revolution, because this week you may have opportunities to change some things in your life. You may just feel like you're having an inner revolution. So I'm excited to share the astrology of this week with you, and then I have 3 tips for you to have an amazing week. So the first thing that's happening this week, earlier in the week, is we have Mercury and Saturn coming together in the sign of Sagittarius. And so this may have us thinking about things, about the work that we're doing, the limitations that we have. It may have us thinking about things in a more serious tone. This is because Mercury is related to our mind, our thought process, and how it is that we communicate. Saturn is a reminder that we only have so much time and resources, and that if we want to create something, if we want to bring something out into the world, or even if there's just something that we're working on, we have to create a limitation around that there is only so much time and emotional energy that we can give in the material world. And the other piece of this is that Mercury is stationing retrograde this week. So this will be this weekend when Mercury goes retrograde. So Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you live in the world, Mercury will go retrograde. And so Mercury retrograde means that we're rethinking about things, that we're really contemplating that our thought process, Mercury, is more internalized. So instead of moving forward and analyzing and communicating, we may feel a need more to really think about things and to think about, especially related to Saturn, the work that we're doing and how it is that we're using our time and our energy towards what it is that we're committed to. Saturn's also about commitment. So that's happening this week. So we may be thinking about things more. The other aspect that's happening this week is Mars will oppose Uranus. So Mars is the planet that's about action. It's about our physical energy. It's about asserting ourselves and drawing boundaries. And then Uranus is the planet of revolution. It's about changing things dramatically. Uranus is about freedom and innovation as well. So this week you may be thinking about things, and you may also have this urge to change something in your life. You may feel like you need to do something totally different. That's what Uranus is about. Uranus asks us to do things differently. And so, you may feel like you don't want to be told what to do. You may feel like taking, a U-turn or a completely different curve in some kind of action. Because it's the planet Mars, this also may involve setting boundaries with people, or setting boundaries with your time, and discerning on how it is that you use your energy on what it is that you're building. If that wasn't enough, we have some more energy to talk about too. Also, this weekend we have a full moon in the sign of Gemini. And so this is really interesting because full moon in Gemini, full moon is about culmination. It's a time when our emotional energy is running high, and where we may be feeling very intense. Especially, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're really going to be feeling into this full moon, because the days leading up to the full moon is when there's this sense of urgency. And we want to get to where we got to go. We got to do the things that we got to do. There may just be more going on in your life. And this being in the sign of Gemini, Gemini is about communication. It's about sharing ideas. It's about connecting with others. And it's also about exploring different options too. So you may feel like you're doing a lot of fielding information and trying to figure things out and researching stuff, and there may be a lot to handle this weekend. And the other piece of this is that Neptune is involved with this full moon. Neptune is squaring this full moon. So Neptune may bring a bit of spirituality, but also a bit of confusion sometimes. So the details on the information that you're receiving may be a little bit unclear. And then Mercury is stationing retrograde at the same time this weekend also. So Mercury being retrograde, we may be really contemplating and thinking about the information that we're receiving. So this weekend especially, it's this time where we may want to change some things. We may be thinking about things. There may be a lot to think about, and we may not have the answers right away. We may not know right now, and that's okay. So don't stress about it. Make sure that you do lots of self-care this week, and especially again like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and the days leading up to the full moon. The more that you can be grounded in your body, the more that you're set up to just have really smooth sailing. So that being said, I have some tips for you to navigate through this energy of this week. Tip number 1 is to be patient. So this is so important this week, especially earlier in the week, because we have Mercury coming into contact with Saturn. And so this is that more serious tone. It's where we need to be diligent and we need to be patient. And when we are patient, then we will reap the benefits later. And so I think a lot of this week is like where we're wanting something, and it's good for us to want it. It's good for us to investigate that. And the more that we can be patient and not expect it to all fit, into place and be clear, the better we are set up to do the work that we need to do now so that we can get to where we want to be. So that's tip number 1, to be patient. Tip number 2 is along the same lines, do the work. So what do I mean by that, do the work? And Stephen Pressfield has a book where he talks about this, just doing the work, doing the everyday things that we need to do in order to get to where we want to be. And that's very important this week because we have, again, that Mercury and Saturn, we have Mercury retrograde. And so, and then the full moon and Neptune being involved in the full moon, maybe making the details on things a little bit fuzzy. What's important this week is not necessarily achieving or going towards accomplishment. That may happen for you, but what I want you to focus on internally is to just do the things that you need to do every single day, little tiny actions. And whether that's things on your task list or making phone calls that you need to make, having conversations that you need to, the energy of this week is around doing the mundane things that are maybe simple, not super exciting, but we need to do those in order to make that breakthrough. So that being said, I have a quote that I want to share with you before I give you the tip number 3. So this is by the feminist and social activist Gloria Steinem, and preview for our for the Feminine Principle podcast. She is the person that we've featured as inspiration for this week on the Feminine Principle. So she says, "The future depends entirely on what each of us does every day. A movement is only people moving." And so I like this so much because I think that it also speaks to the time that we're in right now, where we do have this revival of the feminist movement and so many other movements that are out in the world, where people are really feeling like there's this sense of urgency to innovate and to change and to push agendas forward and to not be silent anymore and to speak up. And I think that those things are so important right now. And I think that the way that we move through, that we encourage these movements and that we nourish them, is to do the work every single day, and to not forget, but then to also do the little things that we need to do, like talking with each other and connecting with each other, and sharing our stories, and not being afraid to share our stories. So that being said, I have one last tip for you. This is a little bit lighter. Tip number 3 is do something fun this weekend. So this is because there may be a lot of things that you're thinking about, a lot of information to process. And so it's nice this weekend to just do something fun, to enjoy. And that is because it will feel good. But it'll also help you like get out of your mind a little bit, and when you do that, things will click into place. So do something fun this weekend. I hope that you like this. That was your horoscope for the week. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend, because I like to get these messages out to as many people as possible. And then, of course, if you want to go deeper into the astrology of this week, there's so much to talk about. You can listen to the Feminine Principle podcast that I co-host with my friend Mel of Energetic Principles. It's called The Feminine Principle: Astrology for Authentic Living. And you can find that on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube. I'll have links down below to access that. And then, of course, if you want to know how to apply this astrology to your life personally right now, you can contact me for a reading or for astrological counseling. The best way to contact me about that right now is to send me an email. So I'll have my email in below. And of course, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. The 2018 Moon Journal is ready for you. So I'll have a link below so that you can order that on Etsy. I'm super happy with the way that it turned out, and it's been really sweet and really encouraging, and really sweet to see all of the feedback. I'm excited that you're excited, and it's really cool. So the 2018 Moon Journal, if you don't know, it is a journal that I have written that guides you through the entire year of 2018 with guidance, reflection, questions, and action items and quotes for every single new moon and every single full moon. So if you like to follow the moon cycles, it's a really nice guide, and yeah, I really am excited about it, if you didn't guess. So yeah, that's all for this week. I'm sending you lots of love and wishing you an amazing week. Namaste.